What were some of the challenges with your challenge?
Well, I think, I think the biggest one was being worried I would sleep through the alarm because for me to fail like that, I'd be so gutted. Like I hate putting a challenge to myself and then failing because I did something wrong. So, I think I was like only half asleep. You know, when you're in that light phase of sleep and you kind of like, I've got to wake up soon. Like when you're ready to go to work, you're like, oh, don't be late, don't be late, don't be late. So I was like half asleep, but I was worried about not waking up. So I'd just have like a little lay down and then my alarm would go off and I'd be up. But I think most of the time I was kind of excited because I was like, all right, I'm going to break. I'm going to break this time. Let's go. I want to see if I'm going to break this time. But I think like it was pretty funny watching my coach get up. He's like, he was as dedicated as I am, if not more. And like he was getting up at 12 a.m. and being like, oh, I just don't want to do it. And like, I'd be like, all right, I'm going to start the session. You just sleep in a little bit more. He's like, yeah, I'll be down in 15. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Because he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to like tweak a bit of technique and tell me what to do. But I was just down there skipping, chilling, shadow boxing, just put on like a little bit of Latin music, just chill. It was good. And I kind of just got to flow. Like I wasn't in my head about anything. I wasn't like, oh, technique. Oh, I wasn't worried about anything. I was just like, just get through the sessions, one session at a time, get in the flow state and you'll be sweet. And then you get to rest. And I was like, actually, you know what the hardest thing was eating. I was like, I love food, but eating enough to be able to train that much was so hard. I had as much calorie dense food as I could, but I felt so sick in between because you don't want to eat too closely before training. So I'd had like powdered carbs, like oats, honey, everything, protein shakes, like every second. Oh, it was disgusting how much I had to eat, but then try to sleep enough. But your food kind of has to be more than your sleep because you don't have time to fully decompress and lay down. So I was trying to eat enough, and that was probably the hardest bit. But I actually really enjoyed the training side. And then I started to feel like a bit of my joints starting to ache and my knuckles were starting to blister. And I just ended up having like blood vessels burst all over my knuckles because of just hitting the bag or pads and stuff. So it was like, all right, well, we're going to do some no contact stuff and just work on popping my shots and skipping and shadow boxing and be a bit more like methodical instead of actually working my body too much in like the middle phases. Like we kind of went down and just worked on a bit of no contact technique and then came back up towards the end and did some pads and running and that kind of thing when my body was okay. And we did an ice bath in the middle of it, which was death, as everyone knows what ice baths are like. So we did a really cold one and that was probably the hardest bit of the whole thing. But it was really helpful. So I was like, all right, we'll get the ice bath done. And then after that, I'll be sweet and I'll be able to keep going. So then knowing that the ice bath helped a lot, I'm probably going to do another one and just keep doing ice baths and I'll be sweet. But yeah, it was a good push for every little bit, like eating enough, sleeping enough, training methodically, listening to my coach. And it's just like all the things you have to do in camp, but condensed.